So this is my periodic motion final project. And basically my idea was that we have a trampoline in our backyard, and how long it took and the distance from the ground to how high my brother could go when he was consistently jumping. And the trampoline was 3 feet above the ground, and I used a measuring tape and tape on the side of it to figure out how high he was jumping when he got in a consistent motion. And so the starting point would have been 3 feet because he was 3 feet above the ground when he was on the trampoline, instead of 0 feet because he wasn't jumping on the ground. And then I recorded this video. And in the video you can see that he's jumping, and on the right side there's tape to show how high he's jumping. Each piece is a foot. And then this is my table, and the first one is 0 seconds because at 0 seconds he was 3 feet above the ground because that's the bottom of the trampoline. And then 0.25 seconds he had reached his midline, which is 4.25 feet. And then at 0.5 seconds he had reached his highest point, which is 5.5 feet. At 0.75 seconds he had reached 4.25 again because he was going back down, which is his midline. And then he had reached 1 second, which was when he completed his cycle at 3 feet again. And then at 1.25 seconds he was going back up again at 4.25 feet, which is the midline as well. And then this is my graph, and I labeled it distance from the ground on a trampoline versus the amount of seconds it took. And it starts at 3 feet because that's how high up the trampoline is from the ground. And then it goes up to the midpoint, which is 4.25 feet. And then the highest point, which is 5 feet, at 0.5 seconds. And then at 0.75 seconds he had reached the midline again, going back down. And then at 1 second he had reached his full cycle, and then the cycle continues on from there. How I got my equation was I used the graph and figured out that in between 5.5 feet and 3 feet was 4.25 feet, so that's how I found the midline. And then the period is how many seconds it took to complete one cycle, and it was exactly 1 second to complete one cycle. And then the amplitude is basically 5 minus 4.25, or 4.25 minus 3, to find how the distance between the midline and the highest point and the least high point, which was 1.25 feet. And then to get my equation, I did y equals the amplitude of sine plus the period times x plus 4.25, which is the midline, and then I did that for cosine as well. And that is my periodic motion final project. Thank you for watching. And then I almost forgot, but this is my relationship summary, and the relationship would be between how long it took for my brother to jump up and down once on the trampoline to how high up from the ground he was during that cycle.